Today I'm going to be doing a transmission fluid change on this Fairlane. This is a 1964 with a Cruise-O-Matic C4 automatic transmission, and I'll also be adjusting the bands. First thing I got to do is drop this pan to drain the fluid. Next, I'll drop this filter out of here. I've got a new one that I'll be installing. Okay, the pan's all cleaned up. There's the new gasket. I'm going to put some gasket glue around this surface here. Actually, I'm going to put glue on both sides. Makes it harder to get the pan off next time, but it's less chance of having leaks if you do that. If any of these bolt holes are flared up from the pressure of the bolt coming up from underneath, why you want to hammer that down. Most likely they will be. I've already hammered these down a little bit, so it's reasonably flat. Okay, I've got the pan ready to go on. Do one last wipe down here. Got a little lacquer thinner on this rag just to get any remaining oil films off of there. Okay, nice and clean. I've got glue on both sides of the gasket. I also want to drain the fluid out of the torque converter. Dropping the pan and getting that fluid out gets part of it out, but not all of it. You also got to drain the torque converter, and we have access to that through this little inspection cover right here. Okay, we got lucky. A lot of times you'll have to rotate this torque converter around till you can find the plug. Well, there it is right there. So we can probably drain it just fine right there. I might rotate it just a little bit. The transmission fluid looks really clean. This transmission was actually rebuilt about 1,500 miles ago. So it's running fine. It probably didn't need to be changed, but anytime you rebuild an engine or a transmission, you want to change the oil after it's broke in real good. Well, that torque converter finishes draining. I'll show you what I want to be doing next. This right here is where you adjust the low and reverse band. This is on the back end right side of the transmission. So I've got to loosen this lock nut, tighten this screw in, and torque it to 10 foot-pounds. You can't really get a torque wrench in here. So what I do is I put a little wrench on the end of my torque wrench and torque it till the reading is 10 foot-pounds, and kind of just gauge my hand pressure at that point, and then try to apply a similar amount of pressure here. And then once you do that, then you back it off exactly 3 turns and lock the nut down. And that's on the back end of the transmission. For the intermediate band, or the front band, that's this one right here. You do similar type of thing, loosen up the nut, tighten this screw in to 10 foot-pounds, and then back it out 1 3/4 turn on this intermediate band, which is inside there. Okay, looks like our torque converter is just about drained out there. So I'll put the plug back in. Put my cover back on. Okay, here's what I'm talking about with the torque wrench. Got a wrench I'm going to put right here. Then I'm going to watch the gauge right here. And I'm going to put pressure on the wrench like that. Watch the gauge. When it gets up to 10 foot-pounds, I'm going to try to make a mental note of how much pressure I'm putting on with my hand, and then try and duplicate that when I tighten that adjusting screw on the transmission. All right, I just adjusted the low reverse band, which is on this side over here. Now I'm going to do this intermediate band. First thing I can do is loosen up this lock nut. I've got to tighten this down. Okay, it's starting to get tight, so I've got to use my calibrated hand and try and get it at around 10 foot-pounds. Okay, that feels pretty good right there. I think that's about 10 foot-pounds. I'm going to put a little black dot right here. And then when I turn around one full turn, I'll know that at least. Okay, there's my black dot, so that's one full turn. So I need to go 3/4 of another turn. There's 2 turns, my black dot, so I'll just take it back about right there. That'll be 1 3/4 turn. Now I'll tighten this lock nut down. Keep this from turning. Okay, that's tight. And that's all there is to it. Drain the fluid, put a new gasket on the pan, put a new filter in there, drain the torque converter, adjusted both of the bands, so it should be good shape now. Just got to put some fluid in it. I'll be using Type F. That's what this transmission calls for. Takes 10 quarts when it's bone dry. Now, I don't think every drop dripped out of that thing. There's some caught up inside the transmission. So I'm probably not going to take 10 quarts, but I'll put 4 quarts in it, start it up, and then keep adding until I get close to full. Then I'll let it warm up real good and check it again and top it off as needed. Thanks for watching.